Hello, hello.
Morning, Jonathan.
Morning. Say that again, sorry.
-6.
-6. Yeah, that's how I feel as well. Got the heater on in the office this morning, that's for sure.
That's good.
My brother-in-law's over visiting at the moment, and he was traveling over from Germany, and
Yeah.
the threat was that there was going to be a whiteout and no one would fly. So we had a very quiet flight in the end, which was good. But he's here, which is nice. How are you, Dan?
So I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Yourself? Yeah.
Well, thank you. There is rumors of a London meetup on the 16th, I think, in London again.
16 December. 16 December.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, but I thought I should share with you at least because you're local. And Dinesh, I don't know if you're in the area at all.
I saw a message. I think they're looking for consensus, aren't they, to see what the interest is. So I'm not sure. I don't think may not be able to make it. But what's the date?
The 16th, 1/6. I think it was either going to be the 16th or the 17th. Is on that weekend. But I suspect I'm just going to be too rammed.
No, I'm on a holistic course at the moment for 3 weeks. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm occupied.
Fine. Yeah. So it's open to you if you want to go along. The poll is probably out of your reach.
You're flying.
Sorry, you're quiet again. Is it
You definitely can't make it, right, Jonathan?
I'm not 100% sure yet, but I suspect I won't be able to. I think it's just too close to everything else that's going on around Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I certainly want to go. But
if you change your mind, just let me know, and then I can definitely consider it myself as well.
Okay, cool. I've just seen poking out the back of me. I've got a souvenir from London. That's what I got last time.
Okay.
Do you know Husky Token, the meme coin from Cardano?
My wife picked that up from Dubai as well.
You got one as well?
Yeah, I don't know how. Well, I didn't get it in my bag. Jay just did. So he said, "Oh, it was in the bag," and I couldn't find it in mine. So I don't know how she picked one up. But there was a stand for Husky.
Okay. Yeah, I there was bags there in London and I got one.
So it was in the bag. Right.
It was in the bags. But I guess it depends who filled the bags and at what point these festivals are a bit potluck and what you come out with or not. Yeah, Husky is an interesting project. Is that what you'd call it? So he's an advocate for decentralization and a big pusher of exposing any centralization that seems to be happening, and trying to get people aware of what it is we're trying to build from a philosophical level rather than just a purely economic one. So to do that, he created a meme coin, which is a random way to go about it, but certainly has got a lot of traction. And part of their process has been to create rug pools. And so if you're a stake pool operator, single stake pool operator, who becomes a rug pool, then you will attract delegation from the Husky community. And that's been sort of a cool place to be in Cardano for a couple of years now. And Husky has stayed true to his word. He does seem to be a strong advocate for decentralization. And certainly is a lot of fun, brings a lot of color and life to the Cardano community, which is nice to see. And quite easy to get hold of their tokens, so you can become a Husky millionaire very easily if you want to. Good. Okay, let's start doing some screen share. Again, I haven't got much material to go over this week. I've been absolutely swamped. So questions are appreciated. Interruptions, more the better. And
I've got one question, Jonathan, because I was trying to move my ADA from crypto.com app to the Eternal wallet, and then it asked me a couple of questions, and I'm thinking I'd better get some advice before I make those steps in. So
okay,
that's something for later.
Sure, I can definitely jump in on that because I've got crypto.com account myself. Yeah.
Oh, do you want to do it now?
Say again, sorry.
Do you want to go through it now or later? I'm okay with going through it later.
Yeah, let me make a quick note, and I'll because I know Paul was asking another question as well. I don't know if your mic's any louder now, Paul. But he was looking at them. Oh, there we go. That's better.
Is it working now? Nice.
Paul's sitting in a 3D cinema, is it? Probably too far to the back.
No, I've got the blooming mic right up to my head, so it's yeah, old computer.
Yeah, Paul was asking about the Machiavellic project, and there's some shift around within the dynamics of the team and their affiliations with other chains and communities, which is certainly worthwhile a quick look as well. So I'll touch on that. Crypto.com. Are there any other questions you want me to think on, peeps?
If you have a windfall and you actually want to sell some of your various tokens, be it Cherry or whatever, what's the best process to go through?
Okay, so definitely look at that. And yeah, cool. And again, if you do it. Go on, Ethan.
Sorry. So I need to do this. I haven't checked that out as well myself.
Okay. Well, yeah, any questions you do, just shout out. So I might not see the chat. I'll try, but cool. So crypto.com, have a look at that. Crypto.com is a centralized exchange. So again, precautions with any centralized exchange is that they are subject to aggressive moves by other competitors, by large financial bodies, by regulators, and they're very hard to audit and actually tell what's going on behind the closed doors because they are centralized. They're a private organization. You don't know what's going on. You don't know the quality of their technology or the state of their reserves. However, crypto.com, I have personally been involved in for over 3 years now, I think, and they hold true to their word so far. So they came to my attention because they offer a debit card, top-up card, so you can actually go and buy cryptocurrencies from their exchange, and then as you're selling out, so as you're exiting from a particular token or a particular market, you can exchange those tokens directly onto your top-up card and then pay that using the Visa network. I'm not sure. Yeah, so Visa debit. So you can pay with Visa in any store that accepts Visa, which is pretty much every store in the world. So a very good way of having quick access to your crypto assets. So the question was when you're selling cryptocurrencies, and so yes, so you've got the crypto.com card that you can top up with, or you can move your assets over into a bank account because you have to sign up with a full KYC procedure and attach it to a bank account, so you can actually take your fiat currency and put it onto the exchange to actually then buy cryptocurrencies. But if you're exiting the other way around or moving money into the crypto.com, is that the question? there's a couple of new questions that have popped up recently. And I suspect that's what you're seeing, Dinesh. They are now under heavier scrutiny from regulators, internationally, as well as, you know, to your locality. And the sort of the big question that regulators really want to know is where the funds have come from, and what, you know, have you paid tax on them? Because that's really what the regulator is there for, to make sure that you paid your tax. And so there's a couple extra steps in the app now when you are moving money into crypto.com from maybe a DeFi wallet. So if you've got, say, ADA in Eternal Wallet and you're moving it onto crypto.com so that you can then transfer it into your bank account, or even if you're moving it from another exchange, centralized exchange, like from Kraken into crypto.com, you'll get asked to verify the source of funds. So that is where your holdings are coming from, who's the owner of those funds, and that will give them information enough to be able to track. You know, the idea is to be able to track money laundering or criminal activity, criminal funds being spread about. And so they're asking this of everybody who uses the platform, and they are you know, committed to regulatory compliance, as I read from their website. So they do want to make sure they get these things, T's crossed and the I's dotted. And in all the experiences I've had so far, it's been a simple case of me moving my own funds around. I haven't received funds from anybody else directly into my crypto.com account. So I've just said, this is coming from me. So you can put your own name in there, and the country of origin. Even if I've brought money from a DeFi wallet, which doesn't really have a locality, you know, it's on the blockchain. The blockchain, Cardano blockchain, is global. I say my locality as being where I reside, so in the UK. And I identify the wallet as a self or a non-custodial wallet, I think the phrasing is. And that means that the wallet that I've sent the money from is a DeFi wallet. So it's not under the control of any third-party organization. So if I was moving money from Kraken, say, or from Binance, that is another centralized exchange, it's another private entity. They have hold of your actual assets. They can move and manipulate them, and, you know, insure them and keep them safe and grow them as they see fit, and based on their terms and conditions with you. But they're in somebody else's custody. They're not in your own custody. With a DeFi wallet like Eternal or Flint or Nami, Yoroi, Daedalus, all these wallets are non-custodial wallets, in that they are in your control and your control only. You hold the seed phrase, you hold the keys, therefore it's your wallet. There's no third party involved. There's nobody else who has ever got access to those funds to do anything with them. And so that's my sort of default when I'm saying where the funds have come from, is from a non-custodial wallet. If I was moving money from Kraken or Binance, then I would just choose that as a source of funds. But I would still say that the funds belonged to me. So that information will then go to an auditor if somebody comes in to check how crypto.com are handling their funds, or if you're under a tax investigation by HMRC or whatever tax body you are under the jurisdiction of, then they could request access to your financial transaction. You'd have to say where the money came from, where it went to, and how much, and so on and so forth. What you sold. Anytime you swap a token, you are liable for tax on the gain or loss of that token when you bought it and when you sold it, just like you would be if you were exchanging fiat currencies, or if you're buying and selling stocks and shares. So that's the crux of the matter, and why there are all these new additional barriers coming on when interacting with the cryptocurrency space. But really, if you're, you know, a legitimate investor, you're not a criminal, you've got nothing particular to worry about other than the restrictions of your freedom a little bit more. ever creeping restrictions on your freedom. However, of course, the antidote to that is to keep growing the DeFi space, keep using your non-custodial wallets, making sure your funds are not on a centralized exchange in any significant amount. And that will reduce the exposure of the centralized exchanges and also protect your funds. And I think that's a good approach for everyone to do. Now, centralized exchanges are extremely useful. Like you said, we've got the crypto.com debit card, so you can actually start paying for real world assets in a very slick and smooth manner with your digital assets, with your cryptocurrencies. So very useful in that regard.
Do you know how much they're charging for your expenses, like interest? If you purchase things like, daily expenses, what's the percentage they are charging?
So crypto.com is very clear and transparent, really, in that they don't charge fees for swapping between tokens. However, what you'll find is that their spread, i.e. the difference between their buy and sell price, is pretty large. So if say you've had a windfall, Paul, you want to get your cherry tokens into fiat currency so you can head to the pub, you've got to take your cherry, you will swap them for ADA, and then you take your ADA from your non-custodial wallet, Eternal, send it to crypto.com, for example. You'd have to fill in the form saying this is a source of funds and so forth. And then you would look to see what price crypto.com will buy the ADA from you in whichever currency you're looking to extract out. So for me, it'd be British pounds, and I would be looking at the value of the what crypto.com will buy that ADA for in terms of GBP. Now, if you look carefully at it, what you'll see is that in the crypto.com app, which is screenshot on screen now, they'll have these prices listed for each of the tokens here, and those prices are fairly commensurate with the market prices that you'd find anywhere. So if you were swapping tokens on Binance or Kraken or on MusiSwap or MinSwap, then the exchange rates, the prices, the valuations of the tokens are pretty standard. When you go to actually swap them into fiat, you'll see that your exchange price is different to the price that's listed here in pretty much in each occasion. And so, for example, I was moving some ADA and I wanted to get that back into fiat, so I wanted to move it into my bank account, and the price listed in terms of the value in my wallet, in my spot wallet, was actually translated to £50 more. Well, it was about £40 more from that total. I think it was about £800, £850 was the value of the ADA I had in my crypto.com wallet. And when I went to swap them for British pounds to send them to my bank, then I was losing about £40. So that's a significant chunk of commission. Yeah, it's commission, but again, it's not even that. It's more just the spread. That's it, the spread between their buy and sell price. So whenever you're exchanging, you've got to be conscious that's where they're actually making their money. And there's nothing wrong with what they're doing. It's absolutely fine. It's just that it's up to you as a user to spot where the money is being made by the private organization you're dealing with, and whether you can get the same job done cheaper elsewhere. So in fact, because I realized actually if I'm going to start off ramping my ADA in the next bull cycle, I've got to find the most efficient way of getting that ADA back into fiat for when I need to spend it. And so it is worth making sure that you're looking at which exchanges are going to do that in the most efficient way, the cheapest way for you. And so what I now end up switching was to excuse me, I moved my ADA back from crypto.com over into my Eternal wallet again, and then sent it from there into my Kraken account. And when I used Kraken's exchange mechanism from ADA into British pounds, then they were actually using the competitive market rate, but they were charging a fee for that. That was their sort of commission, and that equated to £1.95 in British pounds. So effectively, I was then swapping my ADA at a decent trade rate, but I was paying a guaranteed £1.95 to Crypto.com to Kraken. But of course, that is much more efficient, paying £1.95 in fees to Kraken than it is paying £40 to Crypto.com for the same functionality. And then moving my British pounds from Kraken back into my bank account was without fee, same as it is on Crypto.com. So actually, that was a more efficient way of doing it, and I'll be doing that from now on until something else changes. And again, it's something you just need to keep an eye on where they're making the money. But out of those two, there's no bad guys. There's just they're both private companies looking to make money. I do like Kraken. I think their ethos is less about profit and more about decentralization and supporting the crypto industry because of the founder that they have and the way that he talks. He is active on Twitter as well, and seems like a good guy. Whenever there's been any sort of contentious issue and he's stuck his oar in, he's said something that I align with. So it's been quite positive in that regard. So I like Kraken. But equally, they're under US regulation, and US is a particularly nasty market to try and deal with. So that could all change very easy. And in fact, Kraken are under their second regulation lawsuit from SEC. They're being demanded to cough up even more money despite having paid out millions earlier this year. So again, Kraken's under that sort of pressure will probably have to find ways to make more money to be able to pay for their operations. So that situation may change in terms of the £1.95 fee. So it's gonna be worthwhile for all of us to be keeping an eye on off ramps, on ramps for crypto to fiat for a long time, because it's not easy to find places that will accept crypto payments directly, and that's not going to change anytime soon. But particularly in this next bull cycle, keeping an eye on which exchanges are being most efficient in terms of that exchange, and sharing that information with us, because we can, depending on which nation you're in, the chances are you can open up an account in any of these exchanges. If not yet, then over the next year, I'm very sure. Crypto.com is opening up in more and more markets all the time. Same for Kraken, and where Binance is losing ground. It's the largest exchange because of the regulation in the US, and others are picking up the slack or the opportunities. So jurisdictions and restrictions on you as an individual are chopping all the time. Yeah, Utan.
I've got a Swissborg account as well, so I've not tried the swap fees, but I have bought some cryptos on Swissborg, and I think that the fees there are reasonable. I've not tried swapping from ADA to fiat or anything like that. I've just been using to buy.
Okay, all right. It's good to know.
Okay, so if you want to go back on Crypto.com, if I just go through the steps that I want to practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I go into my wallet. I've got Cardano, ADA. If I then click transfer, it says, gives me the option deposit or withdraw. So I click withdraw. And then it gives me, as you say, the options of Crypto.com users or external wallet. So I click external wallet.
Mm-hmm.
And then that tells me, a screen comes up and says add a wallet address, because it says add wallet address to withdraw. It's a withdrawal whitelist. If I click the add wallet address, then I can select Cardano from the list of currencies.
Yeah.
And then it gives me the screen to put the address in there. So it's a Cardano network address. If I paste the address in,
That's a receive address from your.
Yeah, so I've copied the receive address from the Eternal. There's a tick box says you under the travel rule, so that's the regulation. You're required to submit information below. So tick that box that I'm the owner of the wallet address.
Yeah.
Recipient name is my name, country, and put the country in as UK. Just bear with me.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Because these steps I didn't recognize previously. So United Kingdom. And then it comes to next two questions. One of them question is wallet type. And then the question after that is wallet name. So let's go to the wallet type.
Yeah.
So wallet type at the top is non-custodial wallet, which is you mentioned. And then there's crypto.com, Binance, Kraken, and other options. So if I click non-custodial wallet,
that's the one for Eternal, yes.
Then it says wallet name. So that's where it threw me a bit. So what's the wallet name? Is it the name of the wallet in Eternal Wallet, or is it my name, or what is it?
Yeah. So this is just for your reference. So to know which wallet is you're sending money to. So if for example you're sending it to your son's Eternal wallet, then you could call it my son's wallet. If you're sending it to your own Eternal wallet, you could say my Eternal wallet. If you've got multiple Eternal wallets like I do, you could say I'm sending it to whatever correlates with the name you gave the wallet in Eternal.
Okay.
So yeah,
in my Eternal wallet, I've got a name of the wallet called Eternal Ada.
okay, so
I'll put that in. If I put that
perfect.
in, I say continue,
Mm-hmm.
and then it says you trust this wallet. Yes, I trust this wallet because it says there's some rules to go through, and then I put my passcode in. Okay, so withdraw whitelist. So yeah, right. So there's so it's added the Eternal wallet. I can click withdraw on it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Confirm and withdraw. So I need to put all ADA in there, maximum ADA. Oh, these are a few steps that I didn't write. So then it gives me the screen to confirm withdrawal. Fee 0.5 ADA. Not too bad. Put my passcode in. Oh, 2FA. Gosh. Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Yeah. There's lots of steps, lots of hoops to jump through.
Wait for the timer to go.
Yeah.
Because then when I go back in the crypto.com app, I got to put my passcode in again.
Yeah. So you get sent a the Crypto.com, they just use a 2FA and they send you an SMS as well.
Right. Oh yeah, that's true.
Something like that.
Okay. Let me. Yeah, you're right about the verification code.
Okay, yeah. But there's normally 2 bits of 2FA to do. And I do like those extra steps because it makes you stop and think every time you're doing this.
Yeah.
Just make sure you got it right.
Yeah.
Jonathan, while Dinesh is working background, can I ask you questions about the crypto.com? One question I've got is, like, when you actually purchase the item, like for example, because you said you Visa debit card, right? You're going to go shopping, let's say buy a pint of milk. Do you think it will charge extra percentage on it, like some sort of charge there, or it's just like normal Visa? No, it's pure like a using credit card, 0%.
Yeah, no, it's the normal Stripe settlement layer from Visa or whoever on these crypto cards. So the place that these private entities make money is in that settlement layer. So the merchant will have his goods for sale, and he'll know that most people are able to pay with Visa, so they'll have a payment gateway set up with a Visa provider, and that can be any of numerous middle tiers, and the exact fees that they'll pay to those middle tiers are where they that sort of as an additional expense to the merchant. So your local shopkeeper will have to put his prices up by 0.01% or something to be able to accept Visa, or 0.29. Yeah, so I think it's like typically it's about 1.8 or up to 3% transaction fee on Visa, depending on which gateway you're using and size of transaction, so on and so forth. Sometimes there's like a 25p charge per transaction, and so the shopkeeper is aware of that and will adjust the pricing of his goods accordingly, so that he absorbs, so the price of that fee for using Visa is absorbed within the pricing of his stock. So you as a consumer never see that fee surfaced. You don't know how much your Visa is actually charging. You don't know how much the middleman's charging. You just know what the shopkeeper's charging. The shopkeeper, however, knows what he's being charged, and he adjusts his prices, so you pay more. And so this has inflated the whole price of goods, and we as consumers don't know whether that inflation is growing slowly over time as things get more expensive, because of Visa taking their cut, or what. It's very hard to tell as a retailer, as a consumer. So this is a tax on society that is coming from the financial markets, and again, this is another massive benefit of, if we move to a place where you can buy stuff with Bitcoin, Cardano, there is no middleman, there is no middle tier. Your middle tier is the blockchain, and all the fees and all the transactions on Cardano, as you know, are very transparent, very clear. You know exactly you're paying 0.17 ADA for any transaction, pretty much, and so you know exactly what's being priced in by the merchant, and it's open and transparent, which is a beautiful thing, because then we know exactly how expensive goods are.
Yeah. And one other question I've got is, in crypto.com, can you also save, like, I know I can see Bitcoin, Ethereum, all those coins, right? Can you also have like a normal currency like GBP, US dollar, also save there and get some additional, what you call the percentage?
I don't know if they provide interest on their fiat holdings in their accounts, but certainly you can manage fiat stuff in there as well. So if you're, they have a full-blown exchange as well, so you can move money from your crypto.com wallet into their crypto exchange, and then you've got the full market trading pairs of any of the larger exchanges do, like Binance and so on and so forth. They also have a DeFi wallet, so if you wanted to move your money from your crypto.com wallet, which is a centralized wallet, you can actually move into a DeFi wallet that uses their crypto.com blockchain, because they actually have their own blockchain as well.
And I guess you can also, if any exchange can do stop limit, all that kind of stuff, right? Like, can you
on the crypto.com exchange? You can, yes.
That's good.
We've got on the I've just looked at on the app, USDC. They've got 5.25% earn interest, PYA per annum.
Okay.
PayPal USD 5.25%. So there are some coins you can earn interest on. I'm not sure. There's nothing listed on GBP pounds.
Right. Okay.
That's the thing about, I've got Nexo card, you see, so it's pretty much same. With Nexo card, you can also store GBP, US dollar, all those, and you still get like nearly, I don't know, quite low, 6-7% sort of like like interest as well.
Nexo is good, I must say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Only problem I saw with Nexo is they don't have like crypto.com, like in those exchanges where you can exchange, but you can't exchange with stop limit and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's when I found the issue with Nexo. Otherwise, Nexo provide most of the things what crypto.com. And one thing I found another issue with the Nexo is, look, I can see a Visa card there, Whereas the Nexo, they provide some sort of logo. I don't know what that means. If you can see it, it's like it's a MasterCard sort of logo, but I don't know what is it.
Yeah, that's MasterCard.
MasterCard.
Yeah.
Doesn't have MasterCard written there, but it's sort of like a
No, they're like Madonna. They're trying to go without limp symbols or logos. So yeah, but that's a MasterCard logo still. Yeah, okay, so yeah, that's good. I've never actually used Nexo. I came across crypto.com first, but they do have similar offerings. But again, most of the transfers in and out of these centralized exchanges tend to be fee-free, so it's very easy to move assets between. So if you wanted to use crypto.com's exchange, for some reason, you could move it from Nexo into there, and then back again to earn your interest. It's a very flexible and rich market that we've got in front of us. It's just how we decide to use it. But of course, this is Nexo, crypto.com, Kraken, Coinbase, Binance. They're all centralized exchanges. They all have custody of your funds, unless you're using their DeFi wallets, which Binance have and crypto.com have. But effectively, they're holding your money, and if they can run into problems, then your money can go with their problem, as we saw with FTX and other debacles from last year. So if you have the mechanism to be able to earn interest and earn growth on your investments, on your assets in the DeFi space, even if it's not quite as big in terms of monetary gains, I would consider that probably it's definitely worth considering, because the more we give our money to third-party institutions, the more they will have to charge us for using them, just because of we're in a capitalist society. If you're offering a service that people value, then you charge for it. Whereas with blockchain, we've got the opportunity to actually cut out a whole load of middle tier, make savings in that regard. And the hope is that if you find a way to, Visa and Mastercard offer a really high value service. It's going to be extremely difficult to oust them if there ever is a need to, because they give you the ability to spend directly in store. The hope is that you'll have your crypto wallet, and that will be accepted, as ubiquitously as Visa card or Mastercards are, but we're not there yet. But if that does happen, then it could be that the whole sort of percentage that's being taken out to pay for the settlement layers will disappear, and all the goods will come down in price, or most likely the merchants will be richer. But that's a better way to go about it. Efficiency has to come to every market eventually, whether that was manufacturing, materials, textiles, the optimizations brought about by the Industrial Revolution created a whole economic shift. Same for industrialization with the manufacturing of vehicles. That was a huge dynamic shift in the States. Transport innovations and efficiencies coming about with trains and ships and airplane. And now we've got door-to-door delivery. So we've got lorries on the road delivering our groceries instead of us driving individual cars out. All these are efficiencies that can be made by society that are good in some regards and bad in others. And where we fit in with all this is down to what we choose to use, where we choose to store our money. That's a massive driver for what grows and what doesn't. So yeah, it's a conscious thought. I encourage people to think about what they're doing with their money, where it's sitting. Don't just look at as immediate returns. Think about the long-term returns as well. And that's why DeFi is so important. It's not going to be. I imagine next year there's going to be central bank digital currencies offered by several of the nations, and when that's the alternative, slick, easy, already embedded with all the banks, it's going to be very hard for cryptocurrencies, for DeFi, to actually keep growing at the rate it has been. So if you choose to go that route, then you are consciously shooting crypto in the face because there'll be consequences down the road in terms of every transaction will be tracked. They'll be able to turn off the money in your wallet at any point in time. So if you're perceived as being a threat to society in any way, then it will impact your ability to spend directly. And if you combine that with artificial intelligence, algorithms that are assessing us and our behavior, then that can become a very powerful tool in the hands of our governments, which frankly I'm very disappointed in any voting mechanism that I've seen in governments. The chances of getting someone into power who is beneficial to society seems to be very difficult. Politicians are much more career driven than they are societal driven, it seems, when they reach that sort of level of being able to make powerful decisions. So then it leaves countries in the state where they actually have to take something radical, and you end up with premiers for Argentina running around with chainsaws in his marketing campaigns, and you end up with Donald Trump figures, and they're useful at particular times because something needs to change, but they're not something that a mature modern society should be battling with, in my opinion. But there we go. Got off on a bit of a tangent.
Okay, so the steps are, if I've got an email to say whitelist address was successful, and it also gave me an email to say withdrawal request requested, and another email that came in that said request confirmed. So all within 8 minutes. So if I go back to my Eternal wallet, I should now have. Yep, it's coming. Yeah, it's just coming. Yeah, so
perfect.
It's all complete, successful.
Nice, good job. Yeah, so that can happen very quickly. Crypto.com, certainly it's always very quick for me. Kraken as well has proved to be very quick. The first time you do it, for anybody listening, it tends to be a bit of a delay. I think most exchanges will do some kind of manual check on funds leaving or entering their system for a new user, just so that they can carry out some money laundering or checks, things like that. So be aware of that. Don't be too frightened by it. And then, before long, anything up to 24 hours, normally the funds have made the move. And it's, now that money's in your non-custodial wallet, you can breathe a sigh of relief, because the only person who can touch those funds now is you. And so it's down to your security practices to keep those funds safe. But there's still lots of opportunities to earn off the back of that. So,
so the fee was 0.58, which is 0.38 is a 19 cents fee.
Okay, yeah, which is very good. For just sending ADA on its own, that sounds like there is some additional fee going on between Crypto.com and the network somehow. I don't quite know how that would work, because there shouldn't be, but 0.5 sounds a little high. I would expect it to be around the 0.118 mark. I'll maybe look into that, see if I can find anything. But yeah, interesting. Okay. Normally, if you're sending NFTs, then you see a bit more, because there has to be a transfer of things. But if it's just ADA on its own, just the sort of primary token, there's nothing other than the base fee. Good. So that was
okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that, Jonathan. Because I just wanted an expert confirmation. The steps I'm going through are when they ask for particular questions. I got stuck on the non-custodial wallet question, and then the next one was the name. So I wasn't sure about the name aspects of it. But now I think the more we practice, the more you get familiar with it.
Absolutely, yeah. And every new system you start to use has slightly different wording, slightly different scenarios. So yeah, you'll never stop learning, unfortunately. But the use of a community is to be able to help each other through this, because I've never touched Swissborg, but if I do like to look at it, I might go and have a look and
I think it's worth this book is worth it because they're very, like Kraken, they're really highly regarded in security terms.
And Switzerland is a very crypto friendly regulatory environment.
Yeah.
Really good. And yeah, Cardano Foundation is based out of Switzerland for that reason. So certainly I like Switzerland. And my brother-in-law, who's German, likes Switzerland and the way they operate too. So Switzerland could be a winner in the crypto race.
Thank you for that, answering my questions.
Pleasure. So yeah, perhaps a quick touch as well on Kraken. So they are a US-based exchange, but they offer very competitive fees and rates. They've traditionally had quite a simple interface, but in the last year they've released their Kraken Pro, which is very slick and very powerful. And actually, I don't have my credentials here. I can't show you more, but the user interface for Crypto Pro is now very good. It's sort of on the scale with Binance and Crypto.com exchange. And yeah, there we go. So you've got all the tools available that you were asking about, Utan. So you've got stop orders, limit orders, market orders, stop loss limit, take profit orders, and all the rest of them. So yeah, very rich experience there.
Jonathan, do you have Kraken Pro on your mobile app?
I don't use Kraken on my mobile at all, so I haven't tried it. But I imagine so. I don't know whether they've isolated it from mobile or not, but certainly if you're needing Kraken Pro, then probably and there's no price difference. You're probably doing you probably need more screen real estate because you're looking at charts and pricing information, and mobile is a bit more difficult for working with that much information.
I'm looking at the mobile screen, and it does need a lot more real estate because Binance is far better, visually is far better. Looking at or comparing with Kraken.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So maybe just the desktop. For
really, you really need to go to desktop for Kraken trading.
Yeah, I think so. Good. Okay. So that's our centralized exchange section, which was richer and bigger than normal. The other thing that we were looking at was firmly in the DeFi space. That was Paul's asking about Machiavellic. The Machiavellic is a game, a massively multiplayer online role-playing game built on Cardano, building on Cardano. They have achieved a certain amount of success within Cardano. They haven't launched yet or anything like that, but the gaming community on Cardano is much smaller than it is on other chains. And so they've made a sort of strategic move to partner with FGL, which is another game development community that is building on other blockchains as well. I don't know much about it yet. I'm still learning, but FGL is the partner organization they've teamed up with, and they are leveraging FGL's popularity. They've got a whole load of users to rapidly grow the Machiavellic community. And I think that is a wise move because it's very hard to make anything reach, break even or, massive profit when it's a new proposal to any community. So if you can adopt another community by partnering with somebody, then it's a good thing to do. And again, the whole point of cryptocurrencies, DeFi, blockchain is that we can ultimately be interoperable. We don't have to have one winner. We can jump ship to another at any point in time, and that keeps the players in those markets safe and sound, operating in good faith, because any system grown large enough, becomes powerful enough to attract corruption, and that's something to bear in mind in no matter where we're playing. So blockchains, again, there won't be one to win them all. I am a Cardano maxi, and that's where I'm most confident at the moment. But it doesn't mean I don't really admire Bitcoin and what Ethereum has managed to do. And Polkadot, Algorand, Ergo, really great blockchains, different technology offerings. So with Machiavellic joining the FGL community, they've actually taken the steps to merge or move the community over and introduce them to the FGL community as well. So if I jump down into my Discord, screenshot that'd be a bit more useful. They've got the the traditional Cardano Machiavellic server that's still up and running. And you can go onto here and you can verify, and we're a partner pool with Machiavellic Game. So we will be getting a distribution of we've had a distribution, sorry, of tokens through Tosi Drop that you could pick up and collect if you're a delegated to Fluid Pool. The game hasn't launched yet, so the value of those tokens is going to be low until that happens and start to get mass adoption of the game itself. They've done a really good job of attracting initial players by running an ISPO. So if you were delegated to one of 16 pools, or one of 12, can't remember now, then you could participate in the ISPO, earn their token for free just by staking so earning ADA as well as this new MAC token. But now they've invited us over to join another server. So actually, this is one I wanted, normal announcements, which is this FGL server. And actually, that mashed this URL, looks like. So this is the URL that will take you to the new server. And I'll drop that into chat. Oh, no, wrong thing. Didn't want to do that. Oh, it's taking a whole lot anyway. Well, let me just copy that or not. Copy text. No, it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, the new server is a bit more of a murky environment, I'd say, because it's involving other blockchains, existing projects, got other games, also fostering their community in there. So it's not as clean, not as tidy, and there is a bit of a stumbling block in that they're actually, I'll jump over to their server now, which is its FGL one. So Mac with this logo is the exclusive Machiavellic one that started with the Cardano community alone. There will be some cross-pollination, I'm sure, back to this one from FGL, but then they've got this link through to the FGL community, which again, with any Discord server, you have to verify your membership of it. Oh, that's gone to the bot now instead of the actual server. Where's the server? That one. And as part of the verification, you're prompted to go to the Verify Honeycomb channel and proceed to buy an NFT on the Wax network, which I'd never heard of. And Paul, you flagged this as a bit of what's going on here, and I did have a quick look before this call. So it's badly worded, and I'm sure they'll fix this because it's been mentioned now in discussion elsewhere. I've seen that this is actually an either or. So you can either, so instead of it being two more steps to take, it's either one or two as the two options. So if you go to the Honeycomb channel, that's when you get ferried down the route of buying an NFT on the Wax network to then verify your Discord account with this Discord server. But actually, all you need to do is go to option 2, which is to pick the game you want to know more about in channels and roles at the top of the menu, and that's enough to allow you to stay on the server, so you don't have to buy anything or anything like that. So this is an either or situation. So if you go to pick a game, come down here and hit this Machiavellic logo. And when I came, I'd actually already got access to the Machiavellic channel, so I didn't even need to do this, but you can hit that. I think this is actually a little buggy, because when you do hit it, it actually gives me access to a Nifty Fish chat channel, which isn't, I think, anything to do with Machiavellic. But if, for example, you wanted to see other games on here, you could hit the Tropical Fish one, and then it shows a whole new section for information just on that fish game, or this one, which is a mech game. It's giving you a whole load of Mecha World channels. So I'm not interested in those other games. I just want the Machiavellic one, so I'll stay on there. And in fact, you can see when I untick it, I've still got access to the Machiavellic channels. So that's all I really need to be looking at, and I should be able to stay on the server. So does that answer your questions, Paul?
Yes, it does. Thanks, Jonathan. Much appreciated.
No worries. And in fact, on the, I can't remember where I saw it now, but one of the channels, someone had asked that exact question. And it was back up in the thread somewhere. So I'm not going to find it now. Actually, maybe I'm restricted without having that on. Let me jump back in for a sec. No, it's still the same. Okay. It must have been on one of these other ones. One of these other community channels that I saw that. Yeah. Anyway, you're good and safe once you've got a roll. But this,
Awesome.
yeah, like I said, it's a bit. Go on.
And I'm picking. They'll still keep obviously the Machiavellic channel that they've already got. This is just an additional link.
Yeah, and this is a whole new community, so they don't have access to the officers' commission passes that we've bought as NFTs already, or any of the MAC token. So they'll be doing promotions to sell those products to this new community. So how relevant it's going to be to us, I'm not entirely sure. It's probably worth chatting to I forgot his name, Fletcher from Vroom Pool, who's the Machiavellic community manager. You can just ask on the existing Mac channel. He's a good guy to ask about whether any incentive to move to join this other server, or whether we can stay in our own little bubble elsewhere. But yeah, it's you never know with these servers. Having access to them, just being on the server sometimes gives you access to an airdrop at some point in the future that is a very nice surprise. So hence why I've got far too many channels to ever pay attention to, as you can see by my unread message notifications. But yeah, it's a bit more of a murky world in that whole new swathe of population to contend with, and every community has a different set of etiquette and rules. It's a bit like street smarts. So yeah, that's something you can get involved in, or you don't have to. None of this is crucial to crypto, just part of the experience if you want to get involved in it. And the gaming side of crypto is probably going to be more complex in that realm than investments or identity or governance. But yeah, so that's a MAC token, and I think you can still actually buy officer commission passes. So if you are on the Cardano blockchain and you're or if you're not on the Cardano blockchain and seeing access to this and want to get hold of some of these game assets, then you can get yourself a Cardano wallet, sign up for Eternal, move some tokens through the exchange, and then you can buy your own commission pass from the site for only 80 ADA, which will be much cheaper now than it will be in 6 months' time. So not financial advice, but heads up. Good. So the other thing, sorry, was there another question? Let's go back to my notes 1 second. The other thing that I wanted to look at was quick catch up on Muesli Swap and their reimbursement. I don't know if any of you've checked checked today or recently, since last week when I mentioned it, but they have this new reimb.musicSwap.com website. And if you have used their exchange tool in the past year, or maybe even longer, then you can come to this site and check the wallet that you used by connecting it here, saying check now, and it will tell you if you're eligible for a reimbursement, because they had some fee that the community was unhappy about, and they decided just to pay everyone back who wants to claim it. So this tool now lets you do that. I did it last a couple of months ago, 3 weeks ago, something like that, and they didn't have anything to claim. And I went back later on advice from someone on Twitter, and actually had 800 ADA to claim. So that was very worthwhile me doing. And also my son, he ended up getting some he could claim as well. So it is worth checking across any wallets you might have interacted at all with. So heads up for anybody listening. And then the other thing.
Have you posted that link, Jonathan?
I have, but I'll post it again, and it'll be in the call, the links for today's call that I always post in the Hangout as well. But I'll drop it into the chat for you now if I can find my chat window. There you go. Yeah, that is worth having a check. Most, none of my other wallets had anything to claim, but I had been interacting through this one particular one, so that was worth a check for me. Okay, another quick catch up on Project Catalyst. It is rolling on. Submission of proposals has now closed, so we're starting to move into the finalization stage of proposals. There are a significant number of proposals up again, and they've got a week to refine them into their final state, and then voting can open up. Again, if you registered to be a voter in Fund 10, then there's nothing more for you to do. You'll be eligible for voter rewards, and you'll be able to vote in the upcoming Project Catalyst Fund, which is number 11. If you wanted to participate as a community reviewer, where you actually go through reading proposals, writing comments, and then grading them on their usefulness, then you can sign up as a community reviewer. I haven't done this, so I'm not fully okay with it, and the process does change each time, so there'll be some revisions in it this time. But again, that can be a very worthwhile thing to do, because you get paid as a community reviewer a fairly decent amount if you are heavily involved. So it can be a good means to generate revenue, let alone grow your investment. So that's worth a look. We are in Fund 11 now, which is starting to surface. They've moved from challenges into categories, so these categories will now remain the same fund to fund, whereas challenges were changing each fund, and each category has a different entry requirement. So I've got a proposal in on Cardano Open ecosystem, I believe, and that's for the Stake Pool Operator Business Academy, to really help small operators find access to finance, to bootstrapping their pool, to coming up with a business plan for identifying the market that they'll actually have most relationship with, and then finding them ways to expose themselves to that market. Because it's running a stake pool is more than just opening up a server and waiting for delegation. You really have to be proactive in terms of attracting people in. And the way I do it is through education, places like calls like this. I'm participating in Project Catalyst and SIP 1694 workshops, and attending summits, speaking at summits. That's a way to get awareness and grow your pool. But that's a skill that needs to be learned, and certainly can be shortcutted by just having access to someone who's been through that whole process themselves, which me and other people in that project will be offering. If you like the sound of that, I think it'll be worthwhile for the Cardano community as a whole, just to make sure we're growing decentralization, we're attracting stake pool operators that are going to be good operators, we're equipping them to be able to actually get a foothold and become established. Then that's a proposal that I'd appreciate your votes for. And of course, there will be thousands of other really good projects in and around this thing that will appear on this site eventually. At the moment, proposals are all buried into the cardano.ideascale.com website, which is still as uncomfortable to use as ever. But work is underway to move on from this.
Got a question, Jonathan. Sorry about that. So if you become a reviewer, or if you look through some of these inputs for the Catalyst project, is that like one of the routes where you can get an early insight into some of the projects that may come up in the future, or some of the ideas that may come up in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So just by participating in Project Catalyst, you can get exposed to some level. There are other roles within the Catalyst community where you can, if your real interest is in hearing, having your ear to the ground, then being a community brewer is a really good way of doing it, because you're exposing yourself to proposals. You're also getting paid for it, and you're seeing which teams and getting to evaluate which teams you think have the skills. You're able to do real deep due diligence on each of the projects out there, and get an understanding for what it would be to make a good proposal, and to be able to assess a project and how they're going to be able to deliver on what they're promising, and you're getting paid for it as well. So really good way to do it. And the other upside is that just by being in and amongst that community, in the community reviewer forums, hearing what other people are saying, the other projects that are being talked about, either probing or amazement at what they're going to be building, it shows you exactly what the potential is in the ecosystem as a whole. So you get a really good overview. You can participate in that regard as a community reviewer if you want something a bit more lightweight, less time intensive, but maybe a bit more public facing. Then you can. They are changing this time. I'm not quite sure what the new format will be, but there was challenge teams before where you were helping onboard projects into the administrative process once they've been funded. So that's another good way to get exposed to projects that have actually achieved funding already, and see what they're building, and know whether there's something there that's worth investing in or participating in. And so I've been exposed to projects. So I heard about Playermint through participating in Project Catalyst, and they're now partnering with Epic Games to offer play-to-earn offerings. So you can earn cryptocurrencies by playing Epic Games. They've got, I've heard about Machiavellic through Catalyst as well, and that's how it became a partner pool. So that helped me in my own, directly with my own stake pool and promotion. I heard about NTX, which is the infrastructure for artificial intelligence engines. I got first exposed to them through Project Catalyst, and actually that was working as a host for a promotional event, Idea Fest it was called, from Catalyst Swarm. I was a host for that, and that let me moderate rooms of proposers. So people coming in with good ideas that they wanted to write proposals for, promoting their projects, and they would share their ideas, and I could get to hear about them and ask some questions, probe them, and control the room. So community were asking questions as well, and I could make sure things were kept to time. And by being there, I was exposed to NTX and some of the other guys. So yeah, really good way of getting an insight into a really early insight into projects that could be worth an absolute fortune down the road. And all the big projects that we hear about on Cardano, the majority of them have touched on Catalyst in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, it's a really good way of getting your ear to the ground, and hearing about the strongest projects. Axo, hasn't actually involved in Catalyst so much, but he's got opinions on it, certainly. Jarek, Macro Trade, who are really respected in the space. Zygo from Optim Finance, he's used Project Catalyst. Sebastian Glimt from Flint Wallet and Milcomoda, the side chain that's running the infrastructure for Wing Riders, DEX, and Pyama Games. He's had funded a lot of his projects through Project Catalyst. He did really well in Fund 10. He's now not submitted any proposals into Fund 11, he said this time round. So their team has got plenty of funds to see them through another 3 months, so they don't need more funds. And yeah, so if you're interested in early access to projects, then that's a great way of doing it. Getting exposure. And this idea scale platform is where all the proposals get listed, and it's really clunky and not a nice place to be at all, but does the job, has done for 10 funds. And so till that alternative has finished being built, which, you know, and there is alternatives being built, until that happens, we are stuck with this at the moment. So it's another great way of finding who is out there, who's in the community, and starting to recognize faces. So Mario Carmo is a stake pool operator, one of the first female stake pool operators on Cardano, has got some great projects behind her. She does a lot in the education space in the Cardano community. There's a logo for Gimbal Labs here, which I'm always talking about. This is again primarily an educational project, and they've been funded by Project Catalyst in the past, and they now run Plutus project-based learning, and they're opening that up to a whole load of different project-based learning environments. The stake pool operator business academy that I'm going to be building out will be built on Andamio, which is one of the products released by Gimbal Labs. And so, you know, getting your early access, finding out who the good people in the space are is really crucial. This is Upstream, the guys who run the London Summit events. So some of us know those guys personally, and they've got a proposal in here. So that'd be worthwhile a vote. Make sure they're getting rewarded for the hard work they put into early community events. Catalyst Swarm, which again I talk about all the time. Got another proposal in here. So lots of great projects, lots of great communities being built up, and Catalyst is a significant source of viability for them. It's very hard to grow a community from nothing with no means of funding it, because it's only based on people's enthusiasm. Actually, if you can help people find a way to make money in it, then they don't have to, you know, jump ship when money becomes tight. And that's of course what happens every bear cycle, and we've just been through a pretty brutal one, and the community has suffered for it. There's been a lot of people, a lot of really valuable people leave or lose interest. So that's a big shame. And if you can find other ways to keep them engaged in Catalyst and in Cardano, the wider Cardano community, then that's going to be good for the ecosystem as a whole, and good for humanity as a whole, is my opinion. There we go. Cool.
So Jonathan,
Yeah.
just wanted to understand like time scale. So we have voted in Fund 10. So now it's Fund 11. So what do we exactly need to do in terms of, like, do we need to vote some project, I suppose, which is going to be, do you know when it's going to be we need to vote, or how?
It's not until the new year.
The new year, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wait until like January, I suppose, right?
Yeah, so if you've registered to vote, that's the only thing you need to make sure you've done now. So if you've registered for Fund 10, you don't need to do anything else. Okay. If you haven't registered since Fund 9, then re-register now and you'll be fine. Okay. And somewhere on here is the timeline for Fund 10. Maybe it was on this one. Yeah, here we go. So this is the phase that we're in at the moment. We're in submission phase. The proposals are being submitted. Then we'll go into proposal finalization, which is this week, and then we'll go into community reviews, and then community voting starts in the new year. There is a chart with dates on as well somewhere, but I haven't got that to hand. And in fact, if you go back on the Discord server, our Discord server, there is a graphic of the timeline.
I see. Yeah,
you can check too. But yeah, this website is growing all the time as well, getting better. So this is now probably the best place to go for, general information about the project. Good. Was that those questions?
I got it. Thanks. Yeah, cool. That's very helpful. Thank you, Jonathan.
No problem. So a couple of things I wanted to look at as well, just quickly, is that there is a new DEX launched on Cardano on mainnet. I think the developers are based in India. I'm not 100% on this. I did briefly see an interview, but I didn't catch his nationality from the start. But yeah, this is TeddySwap. They've been around for a good while building, and they are very community oriented as well. They run a fair ISO as well, so helps promote single pool operators. And again, it's very typical, of what we're seeing in terms of DEX interfaces, which is nice. But of course, this is brand new to mainnet, only launched yesterday, in fact. And so if you are interested in providing liquidity and yield farming at all, then this may be an opportunity you want to look at. So when a DEX launches, it has no money. So, and because it's an automated market maker, DEX and AMM, it needs funds in there for people to be able to use the DEX for swapping. So if I want to buy some Husky with my ADA, then on the DEX, it means that somebody on there has to be selling Husky for me to then buy the ADA. And to make that process smoother, so you can buy and sell the amounts that you want at the time that you want, then people can provide liquidity. So they'll create a token pair of Husky and ADA, put it onto the exchange, and anytime somebody asks for Husky or ADA to be swapped and sold, then some of your funds will be used to do that, and yours will be topped back up again with the other, with a sufficient pairing to keep the tokens value the same. So the idea is you don't lose value from what you're putting in. There is a potential to lose value on what you put in, which is where the risk comes in, because if one of the tokens drops heavily, then the other one will be sold to try and bring it back up to balance. And so that's where you end up with what's called impermanent loss. But you'd be exposed to the same risk if you're holding one of those pairs independently anyway. So weigh it all up as you go into it. The other factor is that when those exchanges are being made, when people are swapping tokens and you've got liquidity on there are fees being charged to the people who want to make the swap, and those fees then are paid to you as a liquidity provider as a reward. Now, over time, as more liquidity flows into the exchanges, the opportunity to earn from those fees diminishes, because obviously there's more liquidity on there. You're only paid a proportion of if you're providing all the liquidity, then you'll get 100% of the fees. If you're only providing 0.1%, you only get 0.1% of the fees. And so if you get in early, it is an opportunity, and you trust the tokens that you're able to provide liquidity for, then you can actually earn crazy high yields for a short amount of time. So if you're interested in that and you want to get in onto something that is a bit higher risk, but has been, is still built on the same really secure infrastructure, in that it's all smart contracts that are on Cardano, that are audited and that are robust. It will do what it says it's going to do. You don't have to rely on human good behavior. You only have to rely on the ability for humans to audit the code that they're putting on chain. And so if you're interacting with it and it's got certain rules built in, it will carry out those rules regardless. what, of course, you're still at the mercy of is market conditions. So people's valuation of the token pair changes all the time. And that's why you have price movements. And so you can suffer impermanent loss if you need to get your funds back out again. It's called impermanent loss because obviously if you leave the tokens in forever and the price eventually rises, then you can come out smelling of roses regardless. However, if one token tanks, never achieves its price again, you will make a loss. So an example of some of the crazy trade fee earning opportunities, you can see in this column the APR equivalent, and this is an estimate. This isn't an accurate figure. This is an estimate on what fees APR would be by providing liquidity in these pools. And again, you pair this with, or you can evaluate your risk based on how much total value is locked in these token pairs as to what your exposure might be. So Paul, you just divulged that you actually hold some cherry. So if you wanted to just try and pair your cherry with some ADA, you can provide liquidity on here and be looking at 16.05% APR return. It's quite a big pool already. So there's 1.4 million ADA in here. For 1.4 million's worth in ADA of ADA and cherry combined in this pool. And the volume of swaps being done on Teddy Swap over the past 24 hours was 77,000 ADA. And the fees that were carved out from that 77,000 volume of transactions is 0.3%. So that 0.3% being paid out in rewards to anybody who's providing liquidity. So those 0.3 of 77.2 is being spread out amongst 1.4 million's worth of total value locked. So actually, if you're participating in the pool, then you can expect sort of 16% APR to be paid out to you, roughly. It's an estimate, because obviously these valuations changing all the time. If you actually are providing ADA and Teddy's a new token really, relatively, and it's related only to this exchange. Again, there's 750,000 ADA on here, so a decent amount, but your APR would be estimated at 228% at this current point in time, which is huge. And in fact, I was looking at moving I got some LenFi and I wanted in liquidity pool on MinSwap, and I was just about to move it out because it's not earning any significant yield, and then this arrived, and so I actually participated in this pool. And so when I joined yesterday, it was offering 530% APR, which is a crazy amount, but obviously then the amount of volume in here has increased, and so the rewards paid out starts to be spread out further, and your individual APR starts to drop. So if you're getting early for a few days, you can be making bacon quite nicely. And so I think I did some sums, and from what the equivalent was about, so I put in 2,000 ADA, so double that for the LenFi pairing. So it's probably a valuation of what's that, 800 quid or something, and I think I earned about £10 overnight. So that's a very good return on of interest on my holdings, but of course I am exposed to the risk. It's a brand new DEX. It's got not a lot of volume on here, but I know the tokens are both mature, so I was happy to do it. But yeah, some of these, like Ncoins, which is a privacy coin, again, a Project Catalyst funded project that's built a privacy coin, but based on the Cardano blockchain itself. So this isn't Midnight. This is actually a project within Cardano that offers privacy. And effectively, I don't understand the mechanism fully because I've not studied it, but it allows you to move your holdings, your ADA holdings, into an Ncoin, and then that Ncoin is like an NFT that can be given about, distributed without referencing back to the original ADA holdings themselves. So you're effectively detaching the ADA from your wallet in a way that can't be tracked back to your wallet. So if you wanted to transact in the private manner, then that's one way you can do it now with Ncoins. And they've got a native token themselves called Ncoin. And if you paired that Ncoin holdings with some ADA, equivalent ADA, then you could be earning at this point in time 740% APR from providing liquidity on TeddySwap. So these are the sort of opportunities you get at project launches. And so, yeah, in fact, I can check for you now. So I actually provide liquidity in LendFi. So if we can see here, I can manage liquidity, and it'll tell me I'll be paid out an estimate of 11.8 Teddy based on what's happened overnight. And if you then go look on on Tap Tools for the Teddy token, I believe it's their native token, and you can see it's got a valuation of 0.5 cents at the moment. So actually that's $5. I think when I checked it, it was 17.8 Teddy. So that will decrease and increase and boil out to some figure in the end that I can actually harvest. But yeah, potentially earning between $5 and $10 for one day. And of course, that'll be diminishing over time. But yeah, that's the sort of opportunities you get at launch. Longer term, then you'll probably want to be doing something a little different, like finding a mature token pair on exchanges offering different pairs. So I'm also in the opt token on MusiSwap, and that has very different earning mechanisms, not quite as drastic as 200% APR, but still a good opportunity to earn. So opt ADA pair, you gain 8.03% APR on it. And then you can actually farm it as well and get an additional farming APR of 75%. So those two features combined can give you a decent return on investment over and above just holding. But of course, this is something that's more risky than just picking a good token and holding it in your self-custodial wallet. You are actually putting your tokens into smart contracts, so they're out of your custody. And so there are risks attached. You've got impermanent loss as a risk as well, risk factor as well. But that's interesting. So on that note, in terms of sending to participate in liquidity pools or yield farms, you typically have to send them into a smart contract. There is a DEX that has an alternative now, and I think TeddySwap might be the same, but I haven't researched enough to know for sure. But Spectrum Finance is another one. These guys started building on Ergo, so they've got an Ergo DEX going. They also now have built out their solution on Cardano, and so they have this Cardano DEX at app.spectrum.fi, and these offer liquidity pools as well, and they've got, again, decent rates of return, so 32% on ADA opt-in pairs. The difference, or primary difference between them and something like MusiSwap is that the liquidity pool tokens that you receive, so you'll take your token pairs, ADA and opt, put it into liquidity pool, and you'll get given back an LP opt token, which denotes your participation in the pool. And you hold those in your wallet. When you want to then participate in yield farming, you put that into a smart contract, which will then tally up how much percentage you're earning. With Spectrum Finance, you can leave the liquidity pool token in your wallet, so it's sitting in your Eternal wallet, never leaves your custody, but the calculations for your earning is accrued on chain regardless. So even though it's sitting in my wallet, not in a smart contract, the sums are being done in a way that I'm guaranteed payout still at the commensurate level. So you're de-risked in that your tokens aren't sitting in a DeFi in a smart contract, and you have to participate in far fewer transactions. So you're losing less in fees in terms of harvesting your yield and extracting your rewards. And so Spectrum Finance is a good one to look at. The other benefit of that, of course, is that like on MusiSwap, you would, if you were farming, you would go through to the farm and harvest your rewards, and you pay a transaction fee at that point. they will turn up in your wallet. And then if you want to add your rewards back into compound in your earning in that pool, you would have to then sell the tokens, split them into two, get your ADA pairs back in, and then put it back into the pool again. With Spectrum Finance, all those transaction fees that you'd incur disappear because it's also auto compounding. So any rewards you earn from participating in one of these pools actually gets added back into the token pair that you hold. So if I had this wallet connected, which I don't have this wallet connected to this pool, so I can't show you exactly, but under here you'd have ADA opt-in values with your specific holdings, pair holdings in the pool, and those two numbers will fluctuate as the pairs are balanced, as the value of ADA and opt-in vary against each other, but also those two values overall will rise over time because the rewards are paid automatically back into those token pairs. So it's auto compounding. You don't have to go and harvest. You don't have to go and zap your pairs back in again. It just all happens automatically. And so you can sit back and just watch your initial investment auto compound at that high interest rate. So a really good mechanism for low participation, high return investing strategy. So Spectrum Finance are bringing innovation to the space as well, which is really cool. And part of the DeFi revolution is that it gives us access to financial opportunities like this, whereas previously these are all behind locked doors, behind regulated markets. You have to be a bank before you can participate, whereas now it's actually open to individuals as and when they see fit to manage their own risk and manage their own reward. And that actually wraps up all the things I wanted to note of today. Any questions in amongst any of that? Anything I haven't covered or cleared up?
No, good. I'm good. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, I think it's probably worth looking at this Spectrum Finance. I've been keeping away from liquidity pool because of the losses of potential losses of impairment. So I've never actually touched it, but I may actually dabble.
Yeah.
Come
again,
Christmas.
yeah. Once you've got a bit of time, sit down and play with it. And again, it's all down to your, constructing your investment portfolio sensibly. You don't risk, much in these things that you're unsure about. You just take a tiny portion off the top, put it into the high risk, high return category, and start playing with it. And then as your confidence grows, once you've had some experience. So I've been doing liquidity pools now for a year, and in the bear market when tokens were at high risk, and I've still seen a decent return, throughout that period. So there are opportunities. Everybody's experience will differ. There are some losses. I have made losses in crypto. I know. I wouldn't tell you the truth in that regard. But there are other opportunities as well. And overall, long term, especially with this bull cycle coming back in now, there are great opportunities. So growing your learning in some of these extra additional, sectors of the market. Again, one, it keeps you sharp, keeps you interested, keeps you learning, but also it does have the opportunity to increase your returns and improve your long-term position. So if you have the time, if you have the capacity, and it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, because that's the most important thing for me, is you don't want to be left feeling uncomfortable, like you're exposed to risk, something that you're just not comfortable with. So only go as far as you feel comfortable with in anything that I ever talk about. And none of it is a financial advice. It's only just sharing what I participate in. But
have you lost on liquidity pools at all at any point in time?
So I have, but that was actually on so Vive Finance is a token on Cardano that has a DEX and provides liquidity pools. And they were an innovative DEX again. But basically their token launched in in the bear market, it had a very strong initial price, but it is dropped in time because of that bear cycle. And so overall, my position is lower when I got in than it was. It's lower now than when I got in. So in that regard, I've lost out. But again, it's impermanent loss. So as long as I don't need to extract the funds, and if I long-term think that the token will do well, then I don't need to realize that loss, because it's unrealized until I actually sell or move out of that position.
Yeah, so you have an option to sit on it for a longer time until. Okay. Yeah.
So you can see I probably got in about here or something. So the token value was 0.77, and now it's dropped right the way down to 0.16. So I'm at a loss position, but it's impermanent because I haven't realized any of those losses yet. Okay. And chances are we'll see these prices again in the bull cycle. So I'm just going to sit on them. It's not significant. I don't put a significant amount into any of these things. That I'm not sure about. So yeah, it was a punt. It was a very, and the fever around that token launch was pretty strong. So it was like, yeah, I did FOMO into it a little bit. But if I'm having fun and I'm not uncomfortable, then I don't mind. And so yeah, I'm happy to sit around and wait for the few pounds I've got in that pairing to come back to me. And if it never does, then it's fine. I'll have covered my losses elsewhere, so not a problem. But yeah, measure your own risks. Don't do anything you're not comfortable with, but do learn and grow your abilities, because that's where we can actually replace the problems in our financial system with solutions. But it does take us to learn a bit more about our finance system to do that. Good. Okay. Well, that was a good hour and a half again. Thank you for joining. Your diligence is much appreciated. And I'll be back on again next week, I think. So have good weeks. I'll see you all then.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Everyone,
Cheers.
have a nice weekend.
Cheers.
Bye.
I'll drop the links to the call onto Discord. But yeah, otherwise I'll see you all soon. Bye.